Hippocrates, the father of medicine, 400 years BC, no mention of diabetes in his writings. So diabetes is a fairly modern disease. Diabetes is a lifestyle disease. Newton's third law of motion states that to every action there's an equal and an opposite reaction. Why isn't the pancreas working? That's what we should be asking.
Meet Dr. Barbara O'Neill, a renowned naturopath with an impressive 4-decade career. She is dedicated to empowering people to take charge of their well-being, as she firmly believes that the human body possesses an innate capacity for self-healing, provided it receives essential nourishment and care. With her expertise, Dr. O'Neill educates people on the fundamentals of healthy living through various natural therapies, including nutrition, herbalism, and homeopathy. Her approach focuses on cultivating sustainable lifestyle habits, rather than merely treating symptoms, allowing people to thrive and live life to the fullest. In today's video, Dr. O'Neill reveals the shocking secrets of how to reverse type 2 diabetes naturally. When it comes to diabetes, it can affect anyone, regardless of age. And the sad reality is that there is still no cure. The current medical approach often relies on insulin and other medications to manage it. However, with insights from Dr. O'Neill, we'll explore effective ways to help reverse or lower your risk of developing diabetes. Unlike many modern medications, these tips have no side effects when followed correctly. But that's not all. We'll also be revealing scientific studies to back the claims made in this video, so stick around to find out how simple dietary changes can help prevent diabetes. If you eat a lot of carbs, listen attentively to what Dr. O'Neill says about carb consumption.
But what's happening today is people predominantly are eating a high carbohydrate diet. And this high carbohydrate diet releases a lot of glucose. And that glucose, when it gets into the blood, especially the refined sugar, and by the way, the refined grains, it's almost as high as sugar. But there is one grain that gets the blood sugar levels higher than refined sugar. Is that a surprise? And the grain that does that is what? Bread and cereal and pasta and cakes, etc., and pizza are all made out of predominantly one grain. What's that one grain? It's wheat.
As Dr. O'Neill rightly pointed out, our modern diet, which is heavy in high carbohydrate foods, plays a major role in the growing type 2 diabetes epidemic. Dr. Barbara O'Neill's expertise reveals that refined sugar and wheat cause a rapid spike in glucose levels in the bloodstream. This excess glucose overwhelms the body's ability to regulate it, leading to insulin resistance, which is a key factor in the development of type 2 diabetes. The culprit behind this glucose surge is carbs like wheat, which is the primary ingredient used in staples like bread, cereal, pasta, cakes, and pizza. Wheat's amylopectin is a rapidly digesting starch, which releases glucose at an alarming rate, surpassing even refined sugar's destructive potential. When consumed excessively, wheat and refined sugar lead to chronic inflammation, oxidative stress, and cellular damage, further worsening insulin resistance. The consequences of a high carbohydrate diet equally take a serious toll on the pancreas. Insulin resistance hinders the body's ability to absorb glucose into cells, leading to a spike in blood sugar levels. Over time, prolonged exposure to elevated glucose can damage vital organs, such as the pancreas and blood vessels, significantly raising the risk of diabetes, cardiovascular disease, kidney failure, and nerve damage. Fortunately, there is hope. Avoiding refined sugar and wheat can greatly reduce the risk of developing type 2 diabetes and may even help reverse existing conditions. By eliminating these foods, you can break the cycle of insulin resistance and glucose overload. This dietary change allows the body to regain control of blood sugar levels, improving both glucose metabolism and insulin sensitivity. Focusing on whole, nutrient-dense foods can also reboot your metabolism and reverse the tide of insulin resistance, which is the main cause of type 2 diabetes. So, what should you eat instead? Try incorporating healthier alternatives into your diet, such as vegetables like broccoli, lean proteins like poultry, healthy fats like avocado, and low-carb grains like almond flour. These options can help you maintain balanced blood sugar levels while providing essential nutrients for overall health. If you're enjoying this video so far, please show your support by giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to our YouTube channel for more interesting and educative content like this. Now, here's another food that Dr. O'Neill wants us to be mindful of if we want to reverse type 2 diabetes.
Another thing is no wheat, no caffeine, and no refined sugar and no caffeine. Caffeine can actually get an insulin response, so that has to be stopped.
Dr. O'Neill uncovers a surprising truth about caffeine, which is the go-to pick-me-up for many of us. While it helps boost energy, caffeine can also stimulate an insulin response, making it a possible factor in the diabetes equation. Found in popular drinks like coffee, tea, energy drinks, and even chocolate, caffeine has unique properties that can affect our metabolic processes in unexpected ways. And the best part? When consumed in moderation, caffeine can actually offer several benefits. It can boost metabolism, enhance fat burning, and improve insulin sensitivity, all of which can help in managing or even reversing diabetes. However, too much caffeine can have negative effects. Excessive intake can raise cortisol levels, the stress hormone, which can disrupt glucose regulation and potentially worsen your health. Caffeine may also interfere with sleep patterns, a critical aspect of diabetes management, as insufficient sleep can contribute to insulin resistance. So, where does this leave us? The key is to maintain a delicate balance. Moderation is super important when it comes to caffeine consumption, particularly for those on a journey to reverse diabetes. To manage your caffeine intake effectively, you should be mindful of how much you consume each day. Aim for no more than 400 milligrams daily, which is about 4 cups of brewed coffee. Another helpful strategy is to opt for decaffeinated versions of your favorite beverages, allowing you to enjoy the taste without the full caffeine load. Additionally, it's important to prioritize quality sleep by limiting your caffeine intake in the later hours of the day, as consuming caffeine too late can disrupt your sleep cycle. It's also essential to keep an eye on the added sugars in caffeinated drinks, like flavored coffees or energy drinks, which can lead to unwanted spikes in blood sugar. By being mindful of these factors, you can still enjoy the benefits of caffeine while keeping your health in check and supporting your diabetes management goals. Moving on, Dr. O'Neill will be revealing how low GI foods can effectively help with diabetes management.
So to conquer diabetes, what do? To conquer diabetes, go for the low glycemic index foods. It's not easy. It's easy. I meant to say it's not hard to get a glycemic index. You can Google that. It's a matter of having berries for breakfast instead of banana. It's as simple as having a sweet potato instead of potato. Having your whole grains, eliminating the wheat. Low GI foods.
Dr. Barbara O'Neill recommends that people with diabetes focus on consuming low glycemic index foods to help reverse their condition. But what are low GI foods, and how can they help with type 2 diabetes? These are nutrient-rich foods that release glucose gradually into the bloodstream, preventing the sudden spikes that can damage insulin sensitivity. A study posted in Science Direct, the world's leading source for scientific research, found that diabetic patients who replaced high glycemic index foods with low glycemic index options saw improved glycemic control. Their blood sugar levels became more stable, reducing symptoms of diabetes. The science behind low GI foods is interesting because it works by regulating blood sugar levels, which in turn improves insulin sensitivity, reduces inflammation, and enhances glucose metabolism. This will help you reverse insulin resistance, which is a hallmark of type 2 diabetes. Now the question is, what makes a food low GI? Any food with a glycemic index score of 55 or less qualifies. Here's a fun fact. You can easily find the GI score of your favorite foods with a quick Google search. Dr. O'Neill recommends starting with easy swaps, like choosing berries over bananas for breakfast or regular potatoes instead of sweet potatoes. Now, let's dive into some delicious low GI food options. Whole grains like quinoa, brown rice, and wheat-free bread are excellent choices. Non-starchy vegetables such as leafy greens, broccoli, and bell peppers are powerful insulin regulators. For protein, lean options like poultry, fish, and tofu are great, especially when paired with healthy fats like avocado, nuts, and seeds. Together, these foods form a well-balanced, low GI diet. Dr. O'Neill will also discuss another group of diabetes-reversing foods that are staples in most kitchens. So let's find out.
Number 2, daily legumes. I met a man, he was a scientist, he was 69. He came to our retreat. He said, when I was 42, I was told I had pre-diabetes and to eat legumes every day. He said, I eat legumes every day and I never got diabetes. Because the beans give that lovely, sure, steady delivery of fuel. But how do we stop them causing bloating or wind? You soak them overnight and then you rinse them very well and then you bring them to the boil. Have you seen all the froth that comes on? You know what that is? Wind. You got to rinse it away. What I do is when my beans are 3/4 cooked, I rinse them again. And then I put my beans into a delicious sauce. And then you will not have that problem. They'll be a lot easier to digest. When I first married my husband 24 years ago, he could handle lima beans, he could handle red lentils, he could not handle brown lentils, and he could not handle kidney beans. So what I did is at the meal I'd give him a teaspoon. That didn't cause a problem. A few days later, 2 teaspoons. Within a couple of weeks, 3 teaspoons. He can now handle them all. So sometimes if there are some you can't handle and they're even well soaked and rinsed, just start slowly and introduce yourself to them. As we looked at when we looked at the liver, the legumes are only 1/3 the carbohydrate that you will find in your grains.
Legumes are nutrient-dense foods that provide a slow and steady delivery of fuel, regulating blood sugar levels and improving insulin sensitivity. They are rich in protein, fiber, and complex carbohydrates, making them an ideal substitute for high carbohydrate grains. Did you also know that legumes contain only 1/3 of the carbohydrate content of grains? That's right. What's even more interesting is that a study posted by the National Institute of Health stated that consuming legumes can aid in improving glycemic control. Improved glycemic control in legumes can play a major role in reversing diabetes due to their unique nutritional and biochemical properties. Legumes, such as lentils, chickpeas, and beans, are rich in complex carbohydrates, fiber, and protein, making them an ideal food for managing blood glucose levels. The primary mechanism by which legumes aid in reversing diabetes is through their low glycemic index. Legumes have a GI ranging from 10 to 30, much lower than refined carbohydrates like white bread or sugary snacks. This low GI is due to their high soluble fiber content, which slows down the digestion and absorption of carbohydrates, preventing sharp spikes in blood glucose. This helps ease the strain on your pancreas, giving it a chance to heal and potentially reverse diabetes.
And the best part is that legumes are super versatile, delicious, and easy to add to your meals. Whether you prefer hearty stews, flavorful curries, or refreshing salads, legumes can become a key part of your diabetes-reversing diet. Now let's look at another food Dr. O'Neill advises diabetic patients to consume for diabetes reversal.
The journey through the gut, did you notice that digestion averages 3.5 to 4 hours? So you've got to leave that break between meals. If you eat food, and this is what Dan did, and we just looked at this, high fiber. Remember what fiber does? It slowly releases the glucose.
As Dr. Barbara O'Neill insightfully highlights, high fiber foods provide the necessary tools to keep our blood sugar levels steady and reduce the burden on our pancreas. A study from the National Library of Medicine found that eating more fiber, especially soluble fiber, can help lower insulin levels, improve blood sugar control, and reduce fat in the blood for people with type 2 diabetes. Soluble fiber helps lower high insulin levels by slowing down glucose absorption. This reduces the body's need for insulin, improves insulin sensitivity, and decreases hyperinsulinemia, which is when there's too much insulin in your blood. But that's not all. Soluble fiber also helps with blood sugar control. It promotes a slow, steady release of glucose into the bloodstream, keeping blood sugar levels stable. This takes the pressure off the pancreas, making diabetes easier to manage. Moreover, soluble fiber also helps improve cholesterol levels by lowering bad LDL cholesterol while keeping good HDL cholesterol steady, which boosts heart health. Since managing cardiovascular risks is key to controlling and even reversing diabetes, adding soluble fiber to your diet can make a big difference. And the process of incorporating soluble fiber into your diet is easier than you might think. Legumes, such as beans, lentils, and chickpeas, are excellent sources of fiber. Nuts and seeds, like almonds, chia seeds, and flax seeds, provide a tasty mix of fiber, protein, and healthy fats. Whole grains, including quinoa, brown rice, and whole wheat, offer sustained energy, while leafy greens and fruits round out the array of high-fiber options. However, apart from making smart food choices, there's one final tip from Dr. O'Neill that all diabetic patients should know. Listen carefully.
When he came to our retreat, he ate only low glycemic foods, he had legumes every meal. He started to drink more water, hydration. And what he found was if he felt that he was getting a blood sugar level low between meals, he'd have a little bit of the salt and a glass of water and it would maintain him. I do not advise diabetics eat every 2 hours because that really disrupts digestion. When we looked at the journey through the gut, did you notice that digestion averages 3.5 to 4 hours? So you've got to leave that break between meals.
Dr. O'Neill emphasizes that eating low glycemic foods and allowing enough time between meals is key to maintaining stable blood sugar levels and supporting pancreatic recovery. Therefore, the idea that eating small, frequent meals every 2 hours benefits people with diabetes is actually a misconception. Here's the interesting part. This eating pattern can actually disrupt digestion, which typically takes 3.5 to 4 hours on average, causing undue stress on the pancreas. Cultivating eating habits that support stable blood sugar levels and facilitate diabetes reversal is simpler than you might think. One effective approach is to stick to 3 main meals each day, allowing ample time for your body to digest and absorb nutrients. This structure not only helps regulate blood sugar, but also promotes better overall health. When it comes to snacking, it's essential to make wise choices. Opt for low glycemic options like legumes, fruits, or vegetables when you feel the need to snack. These foods will provide you with the necessary nutrients without causing spikes in blood sugar. Staying well hydrated is another crucial aspect of managing diabetes. Drinking enough water throughout the day can help keep your blood sugar levels stable. If you find it helpful, consider adding a pinch of salt to your water between meals. This can assist in maintaining balanced blood sugar levels while also supporting your hydration needs. You should also include foods rich in protein, fiber, and healthy fats to help you feel full longer and regulate blood sugar levels. By giving our bodies adequate time between meals to properly digest and absorb nutrients, we alleviate the burden on our pancreas. This balance allows the organ to regain optimal function and better regulate insulin production, which is super important for diabetes reversal. With that in mind, start applying this new knowledge, and you'll be amazed at how effective it can be in reversing diabetes. You can also consult your nutritionist to help create a personalized meal plan that incorporates these diabetes-reversing foods. And don't forget to avoid the diabetes-causing foods mentioned in this video to maximize your progress. If you found this video helpful, kindly give it a thumbs up. And
If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're always the first to know when we post more eye-opening content like this. See you in the next video.